If you could wake up one morning in ancient Rome, you would probably think two things very quickly. First, wow, this city is huge. Second, why does everything cost money? Even breathing feels like it has a price here? Because ancient Rome was not just a city. It was a world packed into stone streets, noisy markets, tall buildings, and endless crowds of people trying to buy, sell, survive, and sometimes just avoid being stepped on by a horse. And in this world, everything had a cost. Not just luxury things, not just food or clothes, but almost every small part of daily life had a price tag attached to it somewhere. Even the things we think should be free today were not always free in Rome. Water? Sometimes paid. Public baths? Of course paid. And in some cases, even your freedom had a price. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. Let's slow down and walk into Rome properly. Imagine standing at the edge of the Roman Forum. You hear voices everywhere. A baker shouting about fresh bread. A merchant arguing over coins. A soldier laughing with his friends. And somewhere in the distance, a politician yelling something dramatic, because apparently that never changes in history. The air smells like smoke, food, animals, and something you cannot quite describe, but you definitely do not want to analyze too deeply. This is the center of Roman life. And right here, in the middle of all this noise, is where money rules everything. Because in ancient Rome, money is not just about buying things. Money decides where you live, what you eat, how people treat you, and sometimes, whether you matter at all. It is a simple system on paper, but in real life, it is messy, unfair, and always changing. And that is what makes it so interesting. Now, before we go deeper into prices, we need to understand something very important. Rome does not use dollars, rupees, or anything modern like that. They have their own coins. Small metal pieces that somehow control an entire empire. The main ones are the very small, almost like pocket change you forget about, the sestertius, a common everyday coin, and the denarius, the most important one for daily wages and normal life. Think of it like this. If ancient Rome had a daily life currency, it would be the denarius. Most workers think in terms of, how many denarii did I earn today? Not savings, not bank accounts, just today. Because life is expensive enough that thinking too far ahead is sometimes a luxury. And speaking of work, let's talk about the average Roman person. Most people in Rome are not rich senators in marble houses. They are workers, builders, farmers, bakers, shop assistants, porters, people doing physical work just to get through the day. A typical worker might earn around 1 denarius per day. That sounds simple. But now imagine everything you need to survive comes out of that one coin. Food, clothes, maybe entertainment if you are lucky. And suddenly that 1 denarius does not feel so powerful anymore. It starts feeling fragile, like it could disappear very quickly, which it usually does. Because in Rome, the moment you earn money, you almost immediately spend it. There is not much saving for later happening in most lives. Later is a luxury. Now picture walking through a Roman street market. This is where prices become very real. You see bread stacked in baskets, fish lying on wooden tables, olives, cheese, wine, vegetables, all sold loudly and quickly. The seller calls out, "Fresh bread, fresh bread." Another shouts, "Best wine in the district." And somewhere nearby, someone is probably already arguing about a price. Because bargaining is not just normal here, it is expected. Nothing has a fixed feeling. Everything is negotiable. Everything depends on the day, the mood, and how tired the seller looks. Even bread, the most basic food in Rome, is part of this world of constant pricing. And bread is very important. We will talk more about it later in detail, but for now just know this. If bread prices rise, people get nervous. If bread is stable, people relax. It is almost like bread is not just food. It is emotional stability in edible form. Now, while all this is happening in the streets, Rome itself is huge and divided. You have the rich areas, where wealthy families live in large homes with paintings, gardens, and quiet courtyards. And then you have the poorer areas, where buildings are tall, crowded, and sometimes unsafe. People live stacked on top of each other in apartment blocks called insulae. If you think modern city apartments are crowded, Roman ones might make you rethink everything. Because here, space is expensive. Very expensive. So expensive that people often live in tiny rooms, sharing walls, sounds, smells, and sometimes even problems they did not personally sign up for. And guess what controls all of this? Yes, money again. As you walk deeper into Roman life, you start to realize something strange. This empire is powerful. It has armies, roads, buildings, and influence across continents. But inside it, everyday life is controlled by very simple things. Coins, prices, daily wages, and constant decisions about what you can and cannot afford. It is almost like the empire is strong on the outside, but very carefully balanced on small everyday costs inside. And if those costs change even slightly, life changes with them. So in this series, we are going to explore exactly that. Not kings, not wars, not big political speeches, but something more personal. We are going to explore, what did food actually cost? How expensive was housing? Could people afford entertainment? What about clothes, education, or travel? And how different was life depending on how much money you had? Because in ancient Rome, price is not just numbers. It is a reflection of life itself. Who eats well? Who struggles? Who survives comfortably? And who does not? And as we move forward in this journey, try to imagine something. You are not a modern viewer anymore. You are just another person in Rome, walking through the streets, holding a few coins in your hand, thinking carefully about what you can afford today and what you will have to skip. Because in the next chapter, we will begin with something simple. Coins. The small metal pieces that somehow run an entire empire. And once you understand them, you start to understand everything else. Before we talk about bread, rent, or gladiators, we need to solve a small problem first. How does money even work in ancient Rome? Because if you walk into a Roman market without understanding their coins, you are going to get confused very fast. Not a little confused. More like standing there, holding random coins, while someone shouts prices at you like it's a competition you didn't sign up for. So let's slow it down. Let's understand the Roman money system. In ancient Rome, money is not paper. No digital payments. No cards. No scan and go. Just metal. Small, heavy, slightly dirty metal coins that have been passed through many hands. And each coin has a name and a role. The main ones you need to know are, as the smallest everyday coin sestertius, the common middle unit denarius, the most important daily life coin. There are others too, but these three basically control normal life. Think of them like levels in a game. The as is the weakest. The sestertius is medium. The denarius is the one everyone actually cares about. Now let's start small. This, the tiny coin of daily life. The as is not powerful. It is the kind of coin you drop in your pocket and forget about. It can buy very small things, like maybe a bit of food or minor goods, or small market items depending on time and place. But honestly, most people don't get excited about his coins. It is more like, oh, I still have a few of these lying around. Nobody is building a future with asses. It is survival level change. The sestertius, the normal thinking unit. Now this coin is more interesting. Romans often think in sestertii when talking about prices. Not always physically carrying it in large amounts, but mentally using it to measure value. This costs 4 sestertii. That job pays 100 sestertii. It becomes a kind of middle language for money. If the as is pocket change, the sestertius is real conversation money. You start to notice life feels more serious here, because once people talk in sestertii, things are no longer tiny purchases. They are decisions. The denarius, the king of daily wages. And now we arrive at the most important coin in everyday Roman life. The denarius. This is the coin most workers care about the most. Because a typical worker might earn about 1 denarius per day. That means everything in life starts to be measured against this coin. A meal, a piece of clothing, a night stay somewhere, even small pleasures. All compared to, is this worth a full day of work? That question quietly sits in the background of Roman life all the time. And this is where things get interesting. Because once your life is tied to daily wages, your entire world becomes very immediate. You do not think, I will save for next year. What can I afford today after work? It is a very live in the moment economy, but not in a fun vacation way. I hope nothing expensive happens today, kind of way. Now, let's imagine a Roman worker finishing his day. He has earned 1 denarius. He walks through the market. He looks around. And now he has a decision. Spend it or try to stretch it. But stretching money in Rome is not easy, because everything around him also has a price. Bread costs something. Wine costs something. A place to sleep costs something. Even small comforts cost something. So that 1 denarius starts to break apart very quickly in his mind. Half for food. Maybe some saved for tomorrow. Maybe nothing left for anything else. And just like that, the day's work is already assigned to expenses. Now, here is something important to understand. Roman money is not stable like modern currency. Prices can change. Wages can feel different depending on time, location, or economic pressure. And this makes life feel uncertain in a very quiet way. Not dramatic every day, but always present in the background. Like a small voice saying, be careful how you spend that coin. And then we have something very Roman. Something that feels almost strange from a modern perspective. Money is not just money. It is also political. Because emperors and leaders sometimes change the value of coins. They adjust metal content. They adjust supply. They adjust how much money is worth. And most ordinary people do not fully understand these changes. They just feel it. Food becomes a little more expensive. Rent feels tighter. Savings don't stretch as far. It is not explained to them in charts or news reports. They just notice life getting harder. So now imagine this. You are a Roman worker. You are holding your daily wage. You don't have financial apps. You don't have savings accounts. You have a coin. And everything you will do today depends on how you use it. That is the reality of Roman money. Simple system, but heavy consequences. Now let's step back for a moment, because something interesting is happening here. Money in Rome is not just a tool. It is a way of structuring life. It decides what you eat, where you sleep, how you are treated, and what kind of future you might have. And most people live inside this system without ever really escaping it. Not because they are careless, but because this is simply how life works here. And yet, even with all this pressure, Roman life is still full of activity. Markets are loud. People are social. Towns are busy. And every coin still moves through thousands of hands every day. It is a living system. Constantly moving. Constantly changing. Never really stopping. So now that we understand the coins, we can finally start understanding real life. Because money alone means nothing until we see what it actually buys. And the first thing it buys, the thing that decides survival itself, is bread. In the next chapter, we will enter the most important part of Roman daily life. Not temples, not emperors, not battles, but something far more basic, the price of bread. And why, in ancient Rome, bread was never just food. It was stability.